Aloha and bonjour, and welcome back to the Aloha Indian channel. I am Open Door, you can call me OD, and we are back for the follow-up review on our Storz Bickel Venti Vaporizer. I received a notice in the mail about a month ago that said that the original Venti model had been recalled and that I needed to disable this one so that they would send me a replacement. Took less than a week for them to get me the replacement. I've got it here finally, and we're gonna just go over a few of the differences, and I will give you some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your Venti experience. Okay, so first of all, the cooling chamber is the same, so the old cooling chamber will fit on this. The first difference I noticed was that the bowl now has these ridges. There's some ridges around the perimeter of the bowl, and I assume that is to help dissipate heat. Just a subtle little change there. So here's my original Venti model, and you can see the smooth rim there. But in this original model, just before the recall, I was noticing there's like a Teflon coating on the interior that was starting to flake off. It appears that this new one is either using a different Teflon coating or it's completely gone. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. The reason the recall happened is because there was a physical problem with the battery in this original model. I've done a bit of testing so far, see if there's a difference in battery length. And so far, it seems just about the same. They may have adjusted when the battery indicator shows you that it's at a lower charge, because one of the problems was if you ran your Venti all the way down to the bottom and tried to heat it on the end of the battery, you would get the error screen, and that would mean you have to reset your Venti. With the new model and with the old model, I did quite a bit of testing of how many hits per bowl I would get. On average, we're hitting about 10 to 20 hits per bowl, depending what heat temperature you start at and what you start at with on your airflow dial. So that leads me into some of my tips for using this and getting the most out of it. And the first would be to, yes, actually use this airflow dial. I know it seems counterintuitive because the Venti's big thing is that it has an increased airflow, but putting it down to the middle notch here actually helps me stretch out the beginning of the bowl so that I'm getting more of those tasty hits. And then once it's starting to get more cached, then I'll open it up and really get the maximum draw over to make sure I've vaporized everything. I've never stirred it. Basically, when it's done, it's done. After you take your last hit and you turn off the heat, make sure to wait a moment and clear the chamber. Even though it cools down very quickly, your buds are still warm and there's still probably a hit circulating inside the cooling chamber. So this will also keep the cooling chamber from getting gummy quicker and save you from having to clean it so often. So clear your chamber. Third tip would be to get the supercharger, or at least make sure you're using a high-speed charger. The difference in charge time is literally halved. With just a standard USB cable, it's going to take about 2 hours to fully charge it. With the high-speed charger that Storz Bickel has available, which is actually a good charger for a decent price, your charge times will be between 45 minutes and an hour. Also, I would recommend to just keep the Bluetooth on. You can disable it, but it's going to turn on again after a certain amount of time, because if you turned it off, there would be no way to reconnect it. Don't worry, it's draining an insignificant amount of your battery. Yes, use the Bluetooth, use the app. Storz Bickel did send me a gift for going through the RMA process, a nice little beanie. I don't have much use for it here in Hawaii, but it'll be a nice gift for someone I love. And that's it. Just some simple tips on how to get the most out of your Venti. I know in my original review, I harped pretty hard on dabs and cartridges. I'm really not trying to be an elitist. I am just sharing my feelings, my opinion, obviously. I have nothing against other forms of ingestion. It's very much like comparing a glass of wine that has a bouquet of aromas and tastes and comparing that to a shot of Everclear that has the smell of nail polish remover. They both get the same job done. I obviously prefer one over the other. Thank you so much. We will have more follow-up reviews on the Venti in the future and more Storz Bickel products. And if there's any other products you'd like to see me check out, please let me know and I'll see if I can fit that in the budget. Come back for some of the live streams. Aloha, miigwech, mahalo.